A piece of news that Eagles fans had been waiting on for weeks just landed, my friend, and it completely changes the mood heading into training camp. The kid Howie Roseman, selected with the 20th pick of the first round, finally spoke up about the injury that cost him every single session of mandatory minicamp. And the answer was short, direct, and capable of lifting an enormous weight off Nick Sirianni's shoulders. He said he is feeling great, and he said more than that. He said he will be 100% when the time comes. Now think with me about the size of this. That is the player chosen to fill the space left behind by an all-pro who got traded. The player who needs to build chemistry with Jalen Hurts in record time. And he spent the entire month of June watching practice from the sideline because of a hamstring issue. If you are a die-hard Eagles fan, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now, because training camp opens on July 29th, and the next piece of news about this player could define the entire offense this season. His name is Makai Lemon, wide receiver, the first pick of the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2026 draft. Coming out of USC, Lemon was selected 20th overall, stands 5'11", weighs around 192 pounds, and wears jersey number 9. During organized team activities in the offseason, he felt discomfort in his hamstring. The club never released official details about the severity, but the word around the building was always the same. Nothing that would compromise his availability for long. The thing is, word around the building does not calm down any fan. What calms fans down is the player himself standing in front of reporters and saying he is fine. And that is exactly what happened, according to a report from the Philadelphia Inquirer, just under 2 weeks from the official start of the preseason. Now, why does this news carry so much weight? Because the landscape changed dramatically in Philadelphia. In early June, the Eagles struck a trade with the New England Patriots and sent A.J. Brown there, without receiving another pass catcher in return. Read that again, my friend. An all-pro wide receiver, one of the most physical and dominant players at the position in the entire league, walked out of that locker room. And the franchise chose not to bring in a replacement of equivalent stature. The bet was something else entirely. Hand the spotlight to Devonta Smith, rebuild the room from the bottom up, and trust that the first-round pick would deliver immediate production. Considering the way Brown's final season in Philadelphia played out, and considering the moves the front office made leading up to June 1st, his exit was already a predictable outcome. But predictable does not mean painless. And that is exactly why Lemon's injury became a much bigger topic than it normally would be. A hamstring issue in June for a 7-year veteran is a footnote. For a rookie who needs to learn an entire playbook, understand coverage reads at the professional level, and above all build synchronization with the starting quarterback, every lost repetition is expensive. How many timing snaps with Jalen Hurts did this kid fail to accumulate in June? How many sideline conversations? How many route adjustments? How many details that only get solved on the field were pushed back? That was the real concern. And that concern is exactly what his statement just dissolved. Let's talk about the player himself, because his college production is no small detail. Lemon spent 3 seasons at USC. As a freshman, his role was quiet. 6 receptions in 9 games. In year 2, the jump started to show, with 52 receptions in 12 games, 764 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then came the 2025 season, the year that put his name on every scout's radar in the league. 79 receptions in 12 games, 1,156 yards, and 11 touchdowns. That performance earned him the Fred Biletnikoff Award, given to the most outstanding receiver in college football. Adding up all 3 seasons, that comes to 137 receptions, more than 2,000 yards, and 14 touchdowns. He was the second receiver selected in the 2026 draft. But college numbers do not put anybody on the field in the NFL. What puts you on the field is the fit. And here is the most interesting point of this whole story. According to the depth chart projection that circulated after the A.J. Brown trade, Lemon shows up as the starting slot receiver. That is not a decorative role. The slot receiver in modern football is the guy who faces inside coverage, who lives on third down conversions, who is the quarterback's escape valve when pressure arrives fast. Several draft analysts graded Lemon as the top slot receiver in his class. If that evaluation is correct, the Eagles may have found a high-volume piece at a rookie contract price, at exactly the moment they needed financial flexibility after shaking up the salary structure. Here is the deal. The Philadelphia offense is going to have a completely different face. Devonta Smith takes over as the #1 receiver without any argument. something he waited on for his entire career in Philadelphia. Around him, the front office assembled a group made of parts. Dontavion Wicks arrived via trade. Hollywood Brown and Elijah Moore signed as free agents, and Samori Toure joined the competition afterward. None of those names carries the weight of an All-Pro. It is the sum that matters. And within that sum, Lemon is the only player with first-round pedigree and a star-level ceiling. And there is one factor almost nobody is putting into the equation: the system. The Eagles' offense is now being run by Sean Mannion, and Lemon was described by analysts as a natural fit for what that scheme wants to do. That changes how you look at this situation. This is not just a talented rookie dropping into any random offense. This is a player selected in the first round by a coordinator who apparently designed specific roles for him. And look at the target volume sitting there. Devonta Smith closed out the 2025 season with 77 receptions on 116 targets, 1,004 yards, and 4 touchdowns, holding an average of 13.1 yards per catch. That was the third 1,000-yard season of his career, and he did it as a complimentary piece. Now subtract from the equation every target that used to go to A.J. Brown. That volume does not evaporate, my friend. It has to go somewhere. And the starting slot is one of the most obvious destinations. Taking a step back, there is a historical context worth remembering. Rookies who lose field time in the offseason usually start the season behind on the development timeline. That is not a sentence, but it is a trend. On the other hand, a receiver who arrives at training camp physically intact has roughly 5 weeks of intense work before the opener. 5 weeks of practices, joint practices, and preseason games can recover a good chunk of what June carried away. And here is a curious detail on the calendar. The Eagles have joint practices scheduled against the New England Patriots themselves in August. In other words, the team will run into A.J. Brown on the other side of the field while his natural replacement tries to prove the bet made sense. Hard to imagine a more symbolic script than that. Now, I have to be fair and transparent with you. There is another side to this story, and ignoring it would be dishonest. First, hamstring injuries are known for recurrence. An athlete can feel 100%, and then feel that same discomfort again in the first week of high-intensity work. The very fact that Lemon missed every minicamp session indicates the problem was not trivial. Second, the franchise never released official details about the severity, which means we are working with the player's version, and with reports from behind the scenes, not with a medical evaluation. Third, being a first-round pick guarantees opportunity, not production. NFL history is full of receivers selected in round 1 who needed 2 or 3 seasons to get going, especially on contending teams where the margin for error for a rookie is minimal. And fourth, replacing an all-pro with a rookie and a roster of complementary pieces is a high-risk bet. If it works, the front office will look brilliant. If it fails, the entire offense could stall out, and the question about that trade will come back with full force. It is also worth noting that Lemon and A.J. Brown play the game in completely different ways. Brown is raw power, physical dominance, the ability to win one-on-one on contested balls. Lemon is route precision, separation through technique, and movement. The club is not trying to clone what it lost. It is trying to give the offense a different look, betting that variety compensates for the loss of pure firepower. Will it work? That is the $100 million question the entire season is going to answer. What we know for certain is this: training camp opens on July 29th, and the Eagles' first-round rookie says he will be ready. After a lost June, he finally gets to show why the franchise used the 20th overall pick on him, and why it accepted moving forward without an all-pro on the roster. With Lemon coming back from an injury with no official details released, with Devonta Smith taking over the number 1 receiver role for the first time in his career, and with A.J. Brown wearing a different uniform, can the Philadelphia offense be as dangerous as it was in 2025? Or did the front office make a mistake that will only reveal itself once the season is underway? And beyond that, do you trust a rookie to hold down the starting slot job on a team that considers itself a title contender? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to update you with the latest Eagles news.